Hello friends, in this video we will learn how we can set up our development environment using Docker. So Docker is a container kind of thing in which we set up using the container. In container we have image that is our in this video we are going to set up our environment using the Docker environment. So the benefit is, like, suppose I need to change something in my configuration, or I just need to move to the different version. Like if you want to you have your a project in which you have used a technology, and suddenly you think that the earlier version might be better, or the version after might be better. So if you do that in system, you need to waste a lot of time, because you're simply going to remove that past piece of software, and later you are going to install the different kind of version. You are trying to install that different version in your system. So this thing will take a time, and you might be end up broken your end up doing getting your system broken. So the benefit of using Docker is, like, I am setting something in container, and I just need to change something, like I need a different kind of configuration and different kind of piece of software. I just simply change it and I'm able to do that. And so if your requirement is changed from today, suppose you have something installed, you have some kind of technology using in your development environment today, and suddenly next day something, somebody told you that we will be having a different technology, we are going to use a different technology. So so nothing will be impacting your system. Like like suppose you have you are going to remove that, and other you storing, you just need to set up a container, and you can simply pass that thing to the technical your colleagues. So suppose if your technology, if for example, if your team is using the .NET Core technology, and somebody join your team, you can simply give them your container development container things, and the he can get started his development very fast, compared to the things that we do earlier, like installing the software manually. So this is a way we can say that we are doing it in a automate way. Like whenever somebody else need doing to work on it, he doesn't need to see set up the environment. For example, suppose you can see many repository in GitHub requires this the step to be followed, then to be have a working environment. And suppose some, and you can say in some cases you might you need to have the specific version. For example, if you are using Azure function, you need to install 3.1, no matter if you have 5.0, because 3.1 is the LTS version, and Azure function work on the LTS version, not the release the every release version. So it will work on 2.1, not 2.2, later 3.1 and 6.0, which is the LTS version. So let's get started. So this is the repository which you can use. You can simply code it, clone it. I already have cloned it, and I have, so suppose, for example, let's get started. So let me, okay, I am going to clone it again. For example, if I going to clone it again, I am cloning again here. So you can see that you are seeing that it is cloning the repository, and you need this extension, you need to have this extension. We can say remote container. So this is the thing that you need to have, and always you need to also have the Docker installed in your PC, no matter if you are on Linux or Windows or Mac. You can, it's available to all three platforms, right? And you can get installed from the, you can simply search on internet how to install Docker, and you can get it installed very easily. If there is some problem, comment me, I will help. So we can open this thing that I just clone. You can see that this is the dev container thing folder. So dot dev container folder is used for set up the dev environment. So if you see this file, This is saying that this is the name of environment like C# sample, and this is pointing to this file. So you can see, you are seeing this thing. This means that this is where I am pulling my thing. I have my Docker file kind of kind of thing, and it is saying that do you want to install Node.js? Node, you can simply turn it to the LTS, true or false, and you can define the version here. You can also install the CLI. So you are pretty much getting the idea what we are doing here. In this repository, if we build as a container, it will provide us the development environment. So if I am do this, so you need to choose reopen in container, and what it does, it is set up, it has been created a container for me with that thing. If I am saving anything in this, it will modify that file. For example, if I modify this, you can see that I have changed it to the AAA and I have returned it here. If we go to this thing and check what happened here, you can see that your file has been modified. So every time we saving anything, it will modify our file that is stored in our system, on our hard disk. So what is the benefit of doing this? So benefit of doing this is I didn't need to do anything. This is my Docker file. So if you see that I am passing the version 3.1, so I can choose it to the 5.0, then it will provide me the 5.0 version. Let's see. So if we check .NET version, it is saying that 3.1.406. Remember that if next day, if for now the current version is 3.1.4.06, that is available. In future, if Microsoft updated 3.1.506, and if you will just what you need, you do not need to go to do anything. You just need to rebuild your environment and it will provide you the latest version. So this is the good thing about this container. If you have installed the .NET in your system, you need to manually go to the site, install it, and then you can have that new version. And the good thing about this kind of container kind of thing is you didn't change anything in your system. Like if I show you this thing, I doesn't have the .NET, and neither I have Node, neither I have npm. So this is all kind of container thing is everything I'm doing here is in this container, and I am not modifying it anything on the system level. So if suppose I have doing something that is broken this container, I can still see the changes what thing broken my container, and I can still rebuild it without losing anything. If you play with this thing in your system, and if you broke it, you might need to spend hours to get that fix. So this is the one thing that is good about the container. And suppose I am the current version is 5.0. Now if I want to just try to 5.0, what I can do, I can simply go to dev container and rebuild my container. So if you see the logs, what is going in the behind the scene is thus this Docker is pulling the 5.0 image and this will create the environment using 5.0, and I did not need to do anything. It will provide me the that version that I replace in the dev container. So you can see that it is doing something here. And the good thing is, if we set the install node equal to true, if we set up, if we want node, we can also have that thing here. Let's see after this building image is completed. So what it is doing behind the scene is it is getting the it will pull the image from Docker Hub and will try to create a container image for us and provide us the development environment. So if you saying, so you can see that my development environment is ready, and it does take a lot of time because I did not have tried to 5.0. And if I try something that I have already have in my system, it will be a lot faster. So if I yeah. So for example, now let's see, I have a .NET. So you can see that this is the latest environment from 5.0 version, and now I can do my development without any trouble. I can also able to debug my code. So you can see that we have a project here which is a sample project, and it is saying that if we are able to run it successfully, it will write this in the response. So if what happen if I try to run this? So I just started the debugging and I do not have the breakpoint, so I simply believe that it will show me the response in the browser. And one is the good part one of the good part of this thing is we can debug this thing, and we can also have the multiple things inside its container. I am also able to debug my I also can have the many things inside this container. So suppose if you are saying this that I what it that is simply restore. I think it will start at the develop program the start this thing after the restore. So it just restarted my thing, and you can see that this is saying that 3.1.0 is not found because I have 5.0, and we can let's forget that thing. It is saying that ensure that the target process confirmed to use .NET Core. So might be because I choose the different thing. So if I set it to the 3.1 and I rebuild, it will be faster than earlier because I already have 3.1 images in my system. So you can see that this time it only take 1 second because I already have 3.1 image in my system. And let's see. So if you seeing this thing, what it does it is simply set up which extension is required for our development. Like you can see that this is saying that C# is required. So we have already have C# and this is why OmniSharp is working here. So suppose you are working on Node.js kind of application and you only need the Angular language service, you can simply set up that thing is here. So it is the name of the C# extension. Like you can see, if you can go here and you can copy extension ID, and if I pasting it here, you can see that this is the same thing that you are seeing here. So suppose you are working on Node.js environment and you need to have only 2-3 extension that you required for your Node.js programming. You can simply set up those extension here that will be activated once you are using the Node.js environment. And for suppose if for .NET programming you need to have different kind of extension, and for Node.js programming you need to have different kind of extension, you can also do that here. You don't need to install anything. You can set up. You just simply can set up here, and every time you are starting the project, you just pasted this thing, and on project basis you can have the different extensions. Like earlier, if you are user Visual Studio, and if you are working on Silverlight and you install the one extension, it will also affect when you are working on API, because it is showing something that it might be doing something in background and taking using the memory, but when you never need that thing in your current project. So we are setting the extension on the basis of the project and but we need to do the current job. So this will be a good point when we use container. So let's see, we started. if we got this thing right. So we got this 3.1.4.06. So if you have seen that when we change it to 5.0, it is does take a lot of time, but when we change it to 3.1, it take only few seconds, because I already have 3.1 images in my system. So so what so whenever I change version variant, what happen is it just pull the image from the the Docker Hub, and in case I already have that thing in my system, then it's just use the word thing that I already have. So we have the 3.14.06 here, and I think this is what we are needing, or what we need to run this thing. And now if I start debugging, it should run. So you can see that this thing has been started. And in the terminology of container, when we expose our any port to the host, which is our Linux system, in this case we call it forward port. Like you can see that this is called forward port, the port we are forwarding host. So you can see that I am exposing 5,000 to 127.0.0.1 colon 5,000. This is the port. So if I open localhost, it will show me the website that I just run. So this is the thing. This is how we are going to use this container for development purpose. So suppose I need to debug something. Like if I have installed this thing, I'm able to debug. I'm also able to debug when I working in the container. So if I start debugging again, and whenever it's come to here, I'm able to debug my thing. So I just called it, and you can see that my breakpoint is hit it. So this is the good thing about it. Thanks for watching my video.